guys, thank you so much for tuning into Inside the Mastermind. I have a really cool guest with me today, Mr. Andrew Schultz. Welcome, my friend.
I am so grateful to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's an honor to have you. I think you could teach us all a little bit about being positive. You're a positivity coach, which is great. You started a podcast called Positive Impact, and I want to hear all about it and why you started it.
So 3 years ago, I was frustrated with the doom and gloom of the news and like all the negativity that was happening in society and culture. And I was like, okay, well, what am I doing about it? How am I being the change that I want to see in the world, which is my favorite mantra, to be the change I want to see. And so I was like, I'm going to start a podcast, and I have people who are doing rad things in the community, who are having a positive impact in the community, to be able to have them on as guests and talk about what they're doing. And the vision I had is the people who are commuting to and from work, the people who are on lunch breaks, sitting in traffic, what could they tune in for 30 to 45 minutes and have a positive message to be inspired by somebody who is doing rad things, to change the message, to put out positive content to replace the negativity that felt like it was all over. And so I had a vision of all these different people I wanted to bring on. I made a list of all the names, and 3 years later, all those people I've had on the podcast.
No way.
So the power of visualization.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
And like you said, especially in the world that we live in today, we can say this for generations to come, but there's a lot going on in today's society. I think this is not only a great message and podcast for adults, but for children.
Absolutely.
You know, a lot of these children that are going through a lot of uncertainties in life are dealing with depression and anxiety, and I mean, then, like you said, we're encompassed with negativity. So having that positive word every day is so influential on our brains. It makes such a difference on how we choose to live our life.
Absolutely. And for me, where I was 7 years ago, I was at my own rock bottom where I lost the will to live. I was using drugs and alcohol. I had pushed everybody else away, and I was taking sleeping pills, and I didn't want to wake up. That was my rock bottom. I was in so much despair. I couldn't see a better way. And my family, by the grace of God and the love of my family, they did an intervention, and it saved my life. And I got to rebuild a new life. I got a second chance, and that's why I'm taking advantage. And I believe my purpose now is to help others through the podcast. And then I also have a one-on-one coaching program that I'm a mindfulness coach, and I work with a lot of young adults, young adult men. And I didn't have the tools at a young age to deal with life on life's terms, and I didn't have the tools to regulate my nervous system. And so I work with a lot of young men as a mentor and coach to regulate the nervous system, to give them the tools to feel safe in their body, to feel safe to ask for what they want and need, to consciously communicate, to be able to focus on the breath. And these are all tools that I didn't have at a young age, that I love empowering young men and women to create a safe place to feel in their nervous system, because the social media, the comparing, the judgment, the bullying, the isolation of the last 2 years with COVID, not having that social connection with their friends. Like, that's my purpose and my passion, to help even younger people to feel safe.
So you touched on, you train the nervous system. Do you coach with eating habits, just out of curiosity?
I do.
Because I think that has a lot to do with psychological issues as well, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
I work with a women's eating disorder group, and we do some Qigong, which is energy movement. We do a lot of mindfulness and meditation, breath work. But whether it's food, whether it's drugs, alcohol, pornography, shopping, all these things are external components that people reach for to use as a coping mechanism to calm their nervous system, because it's a dysregulated nervous system, that all those things are numbing agents that our nervous system uses to cope with overwhelmed feelings of stress and anxiety.
That's amazing. We need more people like you to help our youth and to help everybody that's dealing with we're all dealing with struggles in some way, shape right now. And it's so important to have that positive message, have somebody to help you along, to let you know that we've been through this and we're here for you. Your experiences alone, I think you gain a lot of respect from people, because they see that you've been, rock bottom, and you've moved your way up to the top. With the intervention, just out of curiosity, how did you deal with that when your family and friends came to you and said, hey, we need to have an intervention here? How did you deal with something like that? Because I know a lot of people don't realize how rock bottom they are, and they don't come to terms with the fact that there is something they need help with.
Well, I had the gift of desperation because I was so sick and tired of feeling like that, and I had no other way out. And I had been running for so long, and there was intervention attempts in the past that I wasn't ready. And so people have to be at their own rock bottom when the time is right. And I had the willingness and the gift of desperation to say yes. I wanted a new way of life, that my way wasn't working. And the best part is now leading with, I lead with truth, vulnerability, and an open heart. And for men especially, to take off the mask of masculinity, because we're in a culture of toxic masculinity, and it's teaching young men to feel safe in their body, to ask for what they want and need, to feel comfortable to ask for help, and to say, ouch, I'm hurting. Like, we all need people, mentors, coaches, therapists, to help us get where we want to go in life. Mm-hmm. We can't do it alone.
No.
We cannot do it alone. And so investing in ourself, health is our greatest wealth. And so saying yes to ourselves, asking for help. And when we ask for help and say, this is where I'm struggling, that's where the magic happens. And that's what I get to do to help others now. Just like I got the help I needed at that point. Now I'm that person for other people, whether it's food, drugs, alcohol, unhealthy coping mechanisms that help them get to where they are that at one point served them. Well, it's not serving them anymore. So how can we peel away that to get to the true essence of who we are? Because it's already inside of us. Right. My job is just to help pull away the layers.
That's fantastic. Well, as we wind this conversation, wind down, how can viewers reach out to you and find you? The podcast, Positive Impact with Andrew Schultz, you can subscribe and download and listen on any podcast platform. And then the best way to reach me one-on-one is my Instagram, at the.andrew.schultz on Instagram. I post every day, all my content, what I do, all the tools and techniques and things that I've learned, I share on my platform, and that's the best way to reach out. Send me a direct message, and that's my purpose, is to help others, to empower people to take radical responsibility for their life and create new possibilities that we all deserve. Okay, well, thank you so much. It was fantastic talking to you today.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for your positive message.
Thank you.
It was nice to meet you, Andrew.
You too.
Thank you.